Hello everyone. This is me Kasturi ma'am and today I am going to start with a new chapter that is power sharing. This chapter is from class 10th, chapter number 1 of political science. So here we begin. What we will learn in this chapter? What are the objectives of this chapter? First of all, we will understand about power sharing. We need to understand the topic first. Here we are talking about the sharing of power. So how the different countries have shared their power, that we will try to understand in this chapter. So let's begin. First of all, here you see the overview. With this chapter, we resume the tour of democracy that we started last year. We noted last year that in a democracy, all powers doesn't rest with any one organ of the government. The way we people are having right now in our country, we don't depend upon only one organ of the government. An intelligent sharing of power among legislature, executive, and judiciary is being done in our country and is very important to design of a democracy. In this and the next two chapters, we carry this idea of the power sharing. We start with two stories from Belgium and Sri Lanka. Both these stories are about how democracies handle demands for power sharing. The stories yield some general conclusions about the need for the power sharing in democracy. This allows us to discuss various forms of the power sharing that will be taken in the following two chapters. So, in this chapter, we will get to know about two different stories about Belgium and Sri Lanka. Let's begin. So, here it is written in the first page, Belgium and Sri Lanka. So Belgium is a small European country. So Belgium is small European country. To understand this topic, you should have your atlas with you. So you will get to know where is Europe and where is Belgium. And this is a small area. The Belgium is a small country in Europe, smaller in area than state of Haryana. It means Belgium is smaller than Haryana. Now you have to compare the two areas of the particular countries, and obviously you have to understand the difference between the Belgium and Haryana's area. Okay, so it has borders with the France, means Belgium has what borders sharing with the France, Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg, just the way we people, the Indian people, are sharing our borders with the various countries such as Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, etc. So it has a population of a little over 1 crore, about half the population of Haryana. So you can understand the number of the people living in Belgium. Now the ethnic composition of this small country is very complex. How it is complex, that we will try to understand. Of the country's total population, 59% lives in the Flemish region and speaks Dutch language. Means most of the people, means out of 100, 59% lives in the Flemish regions and they are speaking Dutch language. Now another 40%, they are living in Wallonia region and speak French language. So you can understand that mostly the people are speaking Dutch language rather than the French language. Now remaining 1% of the Belgians speaks German. Now out of 100%, 1% speaks German. So in the capital city of Brussels, 80% people speak French while 20% are Dutch speaking. Now you have to understand here that in the Flemish region, only 59% people speak in Dutch, whereas in the capital that is Brussels, there only 20% people speak in Dutch, whereas same we have studied that in Wallonia 40% people are speaking in French, but here in city Brussels, there French speaking people are more, that is 80%. Now the minority French speaking community was relatively rich and powerful. So here you have to understand that in the capital city, the people, those who are living in the capital, that is Brazil, the most of the people are there minority but rich. Okay, they are relatively rich than the Dutch speaking people and more powerful. This was resented by the Dutch speaking community, who got the benefit of economic development and education much later. Now, here, most of these people, actually, you have to understand that mostly the people, those who are Dutch speaking, they are living over here, isn't it? And they are they are majority actually. But they got all the benefits, economic development and education much later, because French people were wealthy enough. Okay, so they tried to acquire all the economic benefits and the education way before than the Dutch speaking people. Now this led the resentment, and this led to the tension between the Dutch speaking and the French speaking community in the year 1950s and 1960s. Now the tension between the two communities was more acute in Brazil. Okay, it was more acute in Brazil. Brazil's presented a special problem. Now Brazil, you have to understand again, what was Brazil? It was a capital city. Okay, now the tension between the two communities means two communities, who were they? French and the Dutch speaking were more acute in the Brazil. Now Brazil presented a special problem. The Dutch speaking people constituted a majority in the country but a minority in the capital. So here what happened, that in the Brazil, the special problem was what? That Dutch speaking people constituted a majority in the country. Okay, but minority in the capital. So as you have seen that how many people were there in the Brazil, Dutch speaking people, only 20%, whereas 80% were the French speaking people. Okay, so that's why only the special problem occurred over here. Now let us compare this to the situation in another country such as Sri Lanka, which is an island nation. Okay, this is an island nation. We all know about it, that just below our country, the Sri Lanka is located. Now what happened, just a few kilometers off the southern coast of Tamil Nadu, we have Sri Lanka. Now it has two core people, about the same as in the Haryana. Okay, like other nations in the South Asia region, Sri Lanka has diverse population. Okay, they also have have diverse people. Now Sri Lanka has a diverse population. The major social group were actually the Sinhala speakers. They constitute 74% of the total, and Tamil people, Tamil speakers are 18%. Now among the Tamil, there are two subgroups. Tamil natives of the country, they are known as Sri Lankans, and the other one is the Tamils. Okay, and they are Indian Tamils, okay, or Sri Lankan Tamils. Basically the Tamil natives of the country are called as Sri Lankan Tamils, whereas the rest whole forefathers came from India. Okay, they came over here during the colonial period. Okay, and they were brought by the Britishers for the plantation. Okay, so they were basically the plantation workers and known as Indian Tamils. So basically in Sri Lanka there are two types of people. One, you may say the Sinhalas or the native Tamils, and whereas the other one is Indian Tamils, whose forefathers came from India. Now you people have understood, I think, this much. Next, as you can see from the map, Sri Lankan Tamils are concentrated in the north and east of the country. See here in the map, it is given over here that communities and regions of the Belgium. It is the pictures of Belgium. Now we will talk about the Sri Lanka. Here you see the Sri Lanka's map. So here you may see that where our Sinhalese are, mostly they are in the southern part, isn't it? And the Sri Lankan Tamils are in the mid of that, here and there. But Indian Tamils are mostly in the northern part and in the southern part of the Sri Lanka. So which is written over here, isn't it? It is written that, as you can see from the map, Sri Lankan Tamils are concentrated in the north and the east of the country. Most of the Sinhala speaking people are Buddhist. Now this you have to underline. Okay, this you have to underline. So here you see, it has been said, it has been written that the Sinhala speaking people are Buddhist, while most of the Tamils and Hindus are Muslims. I mean, the rest were the Tamils, rest Tamils were what, Hindus or Muslims. There are about 7% Christians who are both Tamils and Sinhalas. Okay, so you have to understand this thing, that here, here it has been said that the most of the Sinhala speaking people are Buddhist, while most of the Tamils and Hindus are Muslims. I mean, it means what, the Sinhala speaking people were Buddhist, I mean are Buddhist, while most of the Tamils are Hindus or Muslims, either Hindu or Muslims. There are about 7% people, only 7% were Christians. Okay, now 7% were Christians. Hope you have understood this thing. Okay, now 7% were what? 7% were the Christians, but rest were what? Either Hindu or Muslims. Okay, now what will happen? See here, just imagine what could happen in situations like this. In Belgium, the Dutch community could take advantage of its numeric majority. Obviously so. Yes or no? The in Belgium, the Dutch community, who were actually what? Who were in the majority, could take advantage of its numeric majority and force its will on the French and the German-speaking population. This would push the conflict among the communities further. So it is also happening in most of the countries, in not most of the countries, but some of the countries where this type of problem is there. Now this would push the conflict among the people, isn't it? So this could lead to a very messy partition of the country. Both the sides would claim control over the Brussels. Obviously, French were rich and Dutch were in the majority, isn't it? They were rich and Dutch were in majority, so definitely they will ask for that. In Sri Lanka now, the Sinhala community enjoy an even bigger majority. Yes, Sinhalas were community were having bigger number bigger in number and could impose its will on the entire country. Now let us look at what happened in both these countries. See, majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. So basically it is about majority in Sri Lanka. Now Sri Lanka emerged as an independent country in 1948. The leaders of Sinhala community sought to secure dominance over government by virtue of their majority. As a result, the democratically elected government adopted a series of majoritarian measures to establish Sinhala supremacy. Here you see, Sri Lanka emerged as an independent country in 1948. The leaders of the Sinhalas, mean the majority people, sought to secure dominance over the government by virtue of their majority. Obviously, they were majority in number. Okay, so that's why they took the advantage of that, and they became the power of dominance they created.